That question is a very interesting question. You see, as we get started with the scriptures, of course, someone who is just starting to grow spiritually, you just got saved and all of that. Sometimes when you start reading the scriptures, because there's a way to read it, there is a way to understand it, there is a how to get started. So many times when people pick up the Bible, they just want to read. Sometimes they don't understand. And that is why I would always advise that people try as much as possible to be discipled. You see, that discipline is very important in the life of everybody. And as you grow consistently, as you come into salvation, you get discipled, you know where to read. And then as you're able to understand it, it helps you. I can use myself, for example. There was a scripture some years ago in year 2005. That's about 20 years ago now, where I actually merged the word of God, the word of faith. Not when I got saved, I had been saved several years before then. But then I had a challenge understanding this particular thing because every time I read that scripture, that everyone who chooses to be under the law, the book of Galatians, it says that that person is still, yeah, sorry, anybody that chooses to obey the law, the book of the law is still under a curse, because curse is everyone who is hung on the tree. I didn't understand. And so even though I loved to read the scripture, I actually got to that point where I didn't understand, and it was a problem for me. I prayed about it, and then I had to attend the conference, and it was from that conference that the veil that had covered the scriptures all the years got broken. In fact, they called it 4 days to remember forever. I still remember that day today. It's been 20 years, but the impact of that revelation, it was like the book became open. Strings were open. Strings were attached to themselves. Everything became open. And I thank God for the revelation. I thank God for the minister of God that ministered and all of that. And then ever since then, it was like I kept going and going and going. So what I would just say is I've been in that situation, but for anyone who is in that situation, you need to seek knowledge from people. You need to try to know. First of all, pray so that the Lord would lead you to the right teacher, right? And then not only that, you also need to now take your time to look into scriptures and understand it very well. I'll advise a new believer, for example, to start by reading the epistles. Don't go and start reading the Old Testament and see a whole lot of things, because you will have a very wrong understanding of God. If you try and start reading about God from the Old, you need to understand from the new and use the knowledge of the new to explain the Old Testament. That's the best way, and that's what I will advise. Thank you very much, sir.